you're comfortable with and happy with, it's easier to look at that, obviously. And train of thought. Oh, I've totally lost the train of thought.
That can happen. That can happen. I know anyway, because for me, like, you know, like to bring it back, because there's another question that I wanted to ask you as well, because you brought him up a few times now, but so Tony Robbins, you've done the big course with him, right?
Yeah, sorry, the breakthrough moment. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was sort of on the path with the yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
And but then the big breakthrough came out of like this moment of absolute desperation in a way. It's like I'd split up in spectacular fashion with my husband, my now ex-husband, who's a lovely man, like lovely person. So there was no big something wrong there, you know. But again, I wasn't speaking my truth. Like I was and it was from the best, and this is the thing, and this is what I've learned. It was from the best of intentions. I wasn't speaking my truth because he was going through the really tough time. Yeah. And so I didn't want to hurt him anymore, or, you know what I mean, or be a burden on him or anything like that. But I've since realized that by doing that kind of people pleasing stuff, of course you still be kind and give people support and space when they need it. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about go around like a bulldozer, but but I realize now that by just doing that, not speaking up when things were getting bad, that's what made the breakdown be completely spectacular. And so I ended up hurting him, you know, in a way that I would never have meant. And so I know now that we weren't meant to stay together forever. But yeah, so it was through that awful breakup and then this realization of that, how badly I had screwed things up and hurt this person that I had loved. You know? And then finally, went, and again, it was something that I'd wanted to do for a couple of years before, but I was afraid to because of the money. It was go and do this Tony Robbins course, Date with Destiny. So it's 6 days, full immersion, like 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. It's full on, it's intense. But it cracks your own head and heart wide open. And basically, you know, one of the big things they ask is like, whose life have you been living?
Was it really like, yours?
No, exactly. It's like, and that's it. So I wasn't going for my life. I was trying to fit into some ideal from somebody else's, you know,
the
it's
idea of the life,
from your mum or your dad or, you know.
Exactly.
So that was, that's not that long ago. That was only
a few
2017.
Years back. Exactly.
3 years ago.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And so, it put a lot of, so it's basically a whole lot of applied psychology in a way. But it's so funny how it links back to all of the sort of yogi teachings anyway, and what happens when you do meditate, or if you just live your life. Like,
and was it a life-changing experience for you to work with him? And
enormous, absolutely enormous. It was literally life-changing. Any work on yourself is good work. Any money you spend on yourself, like your actual sort of self-development, is the best money you're going to spend in your life. So you know, I would say to people, try not to let that get in the way. So so there was that, and then that was 6 days intensive, and then I sort of knew that it was going to be hard to shift the old mindset in a really ongoing sort of way. And my big driver was the band. I thought, far out, okay, I'm a woman who's, you know, 40 odd, but I think we've got this really good product here. It's like, and we all still wanted it. All 4 of us in the band still wanted it, but it needed to go to another level. And so that's actually what drove me. And so I signed up for 12 months of coaching through one of Tony Robbins, like sort of senior coaches. So I just went, fuck, I need the best of the best. Like, give me as close to Tony Robbins as I can get right now. And as I could afford at the time, sort of thing. So I spent crazy amounts of money. Like, I mean, fucking crazy amounts of money on this. And I've never regretted a cent. Never regretted a cent. And so, so did that 12 months of coaching. And then part of that, because I'd signed up for 12 months, I actually got a free ticket to his other, like 4-day seminar, Unleash the Power Within. It sounds so that was a year later. So that was kind of a nice little bonus and just reinforced a whole lot of what I'd sort of what I'd learnt. yeah, and it made me like look and do some life coaching as well, because like I've always been fascinated, I guess, because of that wanting to improve.
Yeah.
So going right back to when I was a kid, that whole, okay, well, maybe I could be better.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant that I've never kind of sat on my laurels and gone, oh well, that'll do. I have in some ways, because I haven't followed my passion, and that's what I realized, that was the thing that I was sacrificing. It's like, holy shit, Erica, you are sacrificing your passion and your soul
for a shitty
like
job,
this safety net of money, like
to sit in some office that isn't yours,
because I was terrified of going broke. It's like, and I think, but which is so funny, because I'd never experienced being broke. I'd only experienced comfort in my life. So I find all that stuff fascinating. But so that was absolutely life-changing.
Mm-hmm. And do you see do you feel, because of course it has helped you in your personal life and I guess your business life in a sense, but do you also feel like, if we go back, because we spoke so much about you performing and singing and doing music for so long, has it also changed your performance, like kind of how you are you more like even more confident there as well?
Definitely. I feel like I am. I think to be frank, I think I've always been a good performer.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Again, part of that is because when you have to fit in, you learn. You learn how to fit in. You learn how to put on a show. And it sounds sinister, but it's like, you're a kid. You don't mean to be doing that. This is what I mean. Through the self-analysis, you find this stuff out. So, but now I just feel like I'm tapping more. It's hard to describe. I just feel like I'm tapping more into flow. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're in the zone, like I think everyone knows that sort of phrase, like when you're in the zone, I just feel like I can just tap into that way more. I'm way more confident. Do you know what else? I'm way more confident in just kind of sharing my real emotions. Mm-hmm. Because I don't need anyone's outside approval anymore. And I'm more confident in just creating now. Like I'm actually absolutely hooked on just creating things at the moment. So music videos, we're just in the middle of editing like the third music video that I've directed. And I just friggin' love it. And then I'm busting to get back into the music, and just like anything that's sort of superficial is like, I'm just not interested anymore. I still like performing, you know what I mean? I still like putting on a show, but it's coming from...
from another place now.
It's still coming, it's coming from your own emotions still. Mm-hmm. Like even if, we sing our own songs, we only do originals, but even if I was singing somebody else's song, it's still tapping into my emotions and my
exactly how you're feeling about that particular song. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's way, and I think it gives, as an artist, it gives you way more power to not give a shit what anyone thinks.
Well, it is also interesting if you bring it back again to yoga, in the sense of like, like when we look at the throat and the chakra there, which is, the Vishuddha chakra, and how that is related to the relationship with yourself and your communication center. Like, how are you communicating, and, are you doing it, but are you even doing it, finding your voice? So
that's it, finding your voice. And it's no mistake, exactly, that center, the throat center, is the next one after the heart center. Mm-hmm. It's like 100%. It's like, are you speaking from the heart? Are you speaking your truth?
Yeah. Because that's also, I think where most of your own work really has, still is lying, but has also been lying in your past, is like finding that, the guts to actually speak up, or, the guts to say, and you still have the tendency, I think, a lot of times to, even when we speak, you will always go, how are you going? Like, let's not talk about me. Like, how are you? Whereas, I also want to know how you are, so it's this thing of like, I think it's this ever ongoing thing. And I think it's an important thing to acknowledge as well. You said like, hey, I invested in myself, and I think you got to keep doing that,
Oh, 100%. It is, like you said, it is an ongoing thing. Yeah. Otherwise, the little buggers will creep back in. If you
absolutely.
Don't. Yeah. So I've really discovered, it's like, if you want to do big change, like if you're talking about changing your belief systems, for me, it's definitely been a combination of, not everyone needs this, but I need like massive kick up the ass. Mm-hmm. Like I need to take, like, I like the saying, I need to take massive imperfect action.
Yeah.
It could be for your business. It could be for your relationship. Like if your relationship is stuck, part of what you need is a big slap. It needs a big, bang. If it's your creativity, massive imperfect action, but then it absolutely has to be followed up with ongoing
Yeah.
discipline and tweaking and applying that all the time.
Yeah, keep applying it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good advice.
Nothing more powerful than that.
Well, it's also, it's not one of these things where I think some people also, especially when we talk about Tony Robbins or any of those big guys, like I think a lot of people go there like, okay, I'm now going to be fixed. And then I leave and I'm a new person and I don't have to do anything anymore. I mean, it's even in yoga where people go like, okay, I'll do a yoga class and then, you know, my whole life will change. It's like, no, you got to do that shit every day. You know, you got to.
Exactly. I look at it like brushing your teeth.
Absolutely.
We don't ever question doing that every day. It's like, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. Why would we question out like our inner well-being sort of thing? So it's
just as important. Yeah. Just as important as
like
the teeth.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And like I used to get never badly. I never had bad depression, but I definitely had a few bouts of sort of, you know, mid-range depression in my 20s and 30s. And that's really, I realized like sort of through my 30s is like, okay, yoga was definitely part of that. It's like my management plan to make sure I didn't go back there. Like I said, I never suffered hugely, and I think there can be, you know, varying levels, of course. But it's like, you got to keep that management plan going, like you said. It's like
because now you don't have a safe office job anymore, right? Like you've completely. Because basically you now live from like you teach yoga, you teach music, you're playing with the band, you know, like you're kind of living the life I think you've imagined for yourself for years, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely I am.
And how does it feel?
Looking over it's amazing. It's so freeing. It's beautiful. And it's all of these, there's all of these sort of elements of it that my brain still gets blown about that don't make sense to my brain. And maybe it's the old little, you know, the old BS that's in there a bit.
Yeah.
But like I live seriously looking over the ocean. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
How beautiful this place is. And once I started shattering these old beliefs about money. So one of the old belief systems I had was that you can't earn good money doing what you love. That was
absolutely. Yeah, I have always seen that was
a huge one. Yeah, and so once I started shattering that, and I say start because, like you said, it's not this, you know, one day it's all going to go disappear. You have to put in the work. You have to put in that discipline that you were talking about. But once I started shattering the old my old relationship with money and started reshaping that, shit like this started happening where it's like, oh my God, I now have a home not just near the beach but overlooking the beach, and I pay less now than I did when I was living in Sydney in a one-bedroom flat that hadn't been renovated since the 60s. Yeah. Like a shitty bathroom. You know what I mean?
And you did a huge 180 like freaking pivot, you know? Yeah. And is the fear still there now? Like, do you still fear this, like, oh, what if I go broke? Or whatever it was that was holding you back?
No, nothing like it. I mean, I still occasionally sort of like, you know, I still need to sort something out there. You know what I mean? Because it's up and down. When you're sort of self-employed, as you know, it's like and I had a great coach actually when I was quitting the day job. He was a wealth coach. He was actually, and this is the thing, I'm a big fan of, if you're trying to really shake up how you are, how you've been in the past, for God's sake, get some help from someone who has been there. Yeah. Because you can't, you know what I mean? Don't ask the same people from where you came from. Like, I love my parents dearly, but I'm not going to go to them to help me break out of those old patterns. I'm going to go to someone who's totally. Yeah. Anyway, and he had this great thing. He said, you're going to go through withdrawals. You are giving up an addiction to a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
And I went, oh.
That's a really good point.
Getting used to the ups and downs.
I think that's and I think many, this is for everybody who's listening as well. Like, I think there is so much of that going on. Like, it's one of the things that I never had, you know, like I really struggled. Yes. But I never was like, you know, I mean, I don't know, I can't even really explain it, but I kind of always felt like, I always believed like things will work out no matter what, because I wanted to, you know. So I think that's also this kind of the stubbornness and also just the resilience of like, you know, not wanting to give up will then also, and I do think that, you know, we now know enough of spiritual practice or even just the practice of, it's just everything's energy, but like just having that that good energy and just like knowing like, no, I'm gonna manifest this, you know, I'm going to be okay. And you really did, I think you did a really